Dr. Marcus Cole says the most dangerous food in your kitchen is probably sitting in your pantry right now. You eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You think it is harmless. You think it is heart healthy. You might even eat it because your doctor told you to. But new research from leading geriatric centers across the country points to one food that accelerates bone loss, triggers dangerous inflammation, and steals muscle mass faster than almost anything else you can put in your mouth. What is this food? It's not sugar, it is not red meat, it is not even processed snacks. It is low-fat and fat-free dairy products. Tonight, Dr. Marcus Cole reveals why skim milk, low-fat yogurt, and fat-free cheese are silently destroying senior bodies. He explains the science of how fat removal creates metabolic chaos after age 60. And he gives you the exact alternatives that protect your bones, preserve your muscle, and keep you independent for decades longer than most people expect. Part 1. The food that almost every senior eats every single day. Let me start with a question that will change how you look at your refrigerator. If you wanted to create the perfect food for bone fractures, muscle wasting, and joint pain in seniors, what would that food look like? You would remove all the natural fat. You would add sugar or artificial sweeteners to make it taste like something. You would strip out the fat-soluble vitamins that your body needs to absorb calcium. You would create a product that spikes blood sugar, triggers inflammation, and provides almost zero nutrition for your aging bones and muscles. Now open your refrigerator and look at what is inside. Low-fat yogurt for breakfast. Skim milk in your coffee. Fat-free cheese on your lunch salad. These products are everywhere. They are marketed as healthy. They're recommended by government guidelines, and they are making seniors weaker, frailer, and more likely to fall with every single serving. Here is what nobody tells you about dairy fat after age 60. Your body needs dietary fat to absorb vitamin D and calcium. Those are the two nutrients that keep your bones from crumbling like drywall. Without enough fat in your dairy, the calcium passes right through your system without ever reaching your bones. One study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed over 2,000 seniors for 12 years. The ones who ate full-fat dairy had 30% fewer hip fractures than the ones who ate low-fat dairy. 30% fewer fractures from eating the fat that everyone told them to avoid. The low-fat dairy myth has destroyed more senior bones than any other nutrition lie in history. And it is time to bury that lie for good. Part 2. What happens to your body when you eat low-fat dairy after 60? Now, let me explain exactly what happens inside your body when you pour that skim milk on your cereal or open that low-fat yogurt cup. It is not pretty. It is not harmless. And it explains why so many seniors feel weaker every year despite doing everything their doctor told them to do. Here's the first problem. When food manufacturers remove fat from dairy, the natural creaminess disappears. The product tastes like watery chalk. To fix this problem, they add sugar, corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, or chemical thickeners. A single cup of low-fat flavored yogurt often contains more sugar than a candy bar. A glass of chocolate skim milk contains almost as much sugar as a can of soda. You are drinking sugar water with a calcium supplement attached, and your body knows exactly what to do with that sugar water. What does sugar do inside a 60-year-old body? It spikes your blood glucose within minutes. That spike triggers a cascade of inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. Those cytokines attack your joints, your muscles, and your connective tissue. You feel it as stiffness in the morning. You feel it as ache in your knees. You feel it as weakness in your grip. That is not normal aging. That is inflammation from the food you're eating every single day. Here is the second problem that your doctor may not have mentioned. Natural dairy fat contains a powerful nutrient called vitamin K2. Most people have never heard of vitamin K2, but it is absolutely essential for senior health. vitamin K2, tells your body where to put calcium. Without enough K2, calcium ends up in your arteries instead of your bones. That means weaker bones and harder arteries at the same time. That means higher risk of fractures and higher risk of heart attacks from the same nutritional deficiency. Full-fat dairy from grass-fed animals is one of the best sources of vitamin K2 on the planet. Low-fat dairy contains almost none because the fat is where the K2 lives. A landmark study from the Rotterdam Heart Study followed over 4,000 seniors for more than 10 years. Those with the highest intake of vitamin K2 had 50% less arterial calcification and 50% lower risk of dying from heart disease. Those with the lowest intake had the weakest bones and the most heart disease. The difference between those two groups was often just a serving or two of full-fat cheese or butter per day. Here's the third problem that will shock you. Artificial sweeteners in low-fat dairy products destroy your gut microbiome. Your gut contains trillions of bacteria that control your immune system, your mood, and your metabolism. After age 60, your gut microbiome naturally becomes less diverse and more fragile. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and acesulfame potassium kill beneficial bacteria and allow harmful bacteria to take over. That leads to leaky gut, where bacterial fragments escape into your bloodstream and trigger whole body inflammation. That inflammation ages your brain, your heart, and your joints faster than almost anything else you can do. A study from the Weizmann Institute of Science gave artificial sweeteners to healthy adults for just 1 week. Within 7 days, their gut bacteria had changed dramatically. Their blood sugar control worsened. Their inflammatory markers rose. All of that from the diet products that were supposed to be healthy. Part 3. Why seniors need saturated fat more than younger people. Now, I need to tell you something that contradicts almost everything you have heard for the last 40 years. Saturated fat is not your enemy after age 60. In fact, your aging body needs saturated fat to function properly. The demonization of saturated fat was based on flawed research from the 1950s that has been completely overturned by modern science. Here is what saturated fat actually does in your body after age 60. It provides the raw material for your cell membranes. Every cell in your body is wrapped in a membrane made largely of saturated fat. When you do not eat enough saturated fat, your cell membranes become flimsy and leaky. That means your muscle cells cannot hold on to their contents. Your nerve cells cannot send signals efficiently. Your bone cells cannot build new matrix. You are literally falling apart at the cellular level because you are afraid of butter. Saturated fat also supports your hormone production. After age 60, your testosterone, estrogen, DHEA, and growth hormone are all declining naturally. Those hormones are built from cholesterol and saturated fat. When you avoid saturated fat, you accelerate that decline. You feel it as lower energy, lower libido, weaker muscles, and worse mood. You cannot fix a hormone problem with a low-fat diet. You can only make it worse. A massive review published in the Annals of Internal Medicine analyzed 72 separate studies involving more than 600,000 participants. The researchers found no association between saturated fat intake and heart disease. None. The entire low-fat hypothesis collapsed under the weight of the evidence. Yet government guidelines and doctors continue to recommend low-fat dairy because changing recommendations is slower than changing science. Your bones are paying the price for this scientific inertia. A study from Tufts University found that seniors who ate full-fat dairy had higher bone mineral density in their hips and spines than those who ate low-fat dairy. The difference was equivalent to 5 years of aging. Eating low-fat dairy made their bones look 5 years older than they actually were. Part 4. The replacement foods. The Durst protect your bones and muscles. Now for the solution that will transform your health starting this week. You do not need to give up dairy. You need to upgrade your dairy. The research is clear and the choice is simple. Replace skim milk with whole milk or raw milk if you can find it. The fat in whole milk helps you absorb the calcium and vitamin D. A single glass of whole milk contains about 8 grams of fat, including the saturated fat your body needs for hormone production. The same glass of skim milk contains 0 grams of fat and often added powdered milk solids that oxidize and damage your arteries. Whole milk is real food. Skim milk is an industrial product. Replace low-fat yogurt with full-fat Greek yogurt or full-fat plain yogurt. Read the ingredient label. It should say milk and live cultures. That is it. No sugar, no corn syrup, no artificial sweeteners, no chemical thickeners. If the ingredient list has more than 5 items, put it back on the shelf. Full-fat Greek yogurt has about 20 grams of protein per serving, which is exactly what your aging muscles need to rebuild after strength training. It also contains conjugated linoleic acid, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound that reduces joint pain and belly fat. Replace fat-free cheese with real cheese made from whole milk. Cheddar, Swiss, provolone, mozzarella, and Parmesan are all excellent choices. Cheese is one of the most concentrated sources of vitamin K2 in the human diet. A single ounce of hard cheese contains about 15% of your daily K2 needs. Cheese also contains casein protein, which digests slowly and provides a steady stream of amino acids to your muscles for hours after eating. That makes cheese the perfect post-dinner snack for muscle maintenance while you sleep. A study from the University of Copenhagen gave seniors either low-fat cheese, full-fat cheese, or no cheese for 12 weeks. The full-fat cheese group maintained their muscle mass and improved their cholesterol profile. The low-fat cheese group lost muscle mass and saw no change in cholesterol. The no cheese group lost the most muscle and had the highest inflammatory markers. Full-fat cheese protected their muscles, while low-fat cheese failed completely. Part 5. The 3 other foods that become dangerous after 60. Full-fat dairy is the #1 food seniors should add to their diet. But there are 3 foods you should remove immediately. These foods are actively stealing your strength, your balance, and your independence. The first dangerous food after 60 is refined vegetable oils. Soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, and safflower oil are everywhere. They are in salad dressings, mayonnaise, crackers, chips, frozen meals, and restaurant food. These oils are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, which are highly inflammatory in large amounts. Your body needs a balance of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. The modern diet has about 20 times more omega-6 than omega-3. That imbalance turns on chronic inflammation like a light switch that never turns off. That inflammation attacks your joints, your arteries, and your brain. Cook with olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, butter, or ghee instead. The second dangerous food after 60 is white flour products. Bread, pasta, crackers, bagels, muffins, pancakes, and cereal are all made from refined wheat flour that spikes your blood sugar faster than table sugar. That blood sugar spike triggers insulin release, which tells your body to store belly fat and stop burning fat for energy. Over time, insulin resistance develops, which leads to prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. Diabetic seniors lose muscle faster, break bones more easily, and fall more often than non-diabetic seniors. Eat sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, beans, lentils, and steel-cut oats instead. The third dangerous food after 60 is processed meat with added nitrates and nitrites. Hot dogs, bacon, sausage, deli meats, and ham are preserved with these chemicals. When nitrates and nitrites combine with protein in your stomach, they form nitrosamines, which are potent carcinogens. But the problem for seniors goes beyond cancer. These processed meats also contain advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, which accelerate aging in every tissue of your body. AGEs make your skin wrinkle, your arteries stiffen, your joints ache, and your brain fog. If you eat meat, eat fresh, unprocessed meat that you cook yourself. Save the bacon for a rare treat and not a daily breakfast. Part 6. Your complete eating plan for strength after 60. Here is your assignment for this week. Breakfast should include full-fat Greek yogurt with berries and a handful of walnuts. That gives you protein, fat, fiber, and antioxidants. If you prefer eggs, eat 3 whole eggs cooked in butter with half an avocado. That gives you choline for your brain, protein for your muscles, and healthy fat for your hormones. Lunch should include real cheese on a salad with olive oil and vinegar dressing. Add chicken, fish, beans, or lentils for additional protein. Skip the fat-free dressing and the low-fat cheese. Those products are making you weaker with every bite. Dinner should include a palm-sized portion of protein, a fist-sized portion of vegetables, and a thumb-sized portion of healthy fat. Cook with butter, olive oil, or coconut oil. Roast your vegetables instead of steaming them. Add full-fat cheese on top of your broccoli or cauliflower. Drink water or herbal tea instead of soda, juice, or skim milk. Snacks should include an apple with cheese, a handful of nuts, a hard-boiled egg, or full-fat yogurt. Avoid low-fat snack bars, fat-free crackers, and diet pudding cups. Those are processed imposters that provide nothing your body needs. A study from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health followed over 120,000 adults for more than 20 years. Those who ate full-fat dairy had lower rates of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease than those who ate low-fat dairy. The researchers concluded that the low-fat dairy recommendation was never supported by evidence and should be reversed. That reversal has not happened yet. But you do not need to wait for the guidelines to change. You can change your own plate today. Part 7. Why your doctor probably hasn't told you this. You might be wondering why your doctor still recommends low-fat dairy if the research is so clear against it. The answer is uncomfortable, but important to understand. Most doctors receive almost no nutrition training in medical school. The average medical school curriculum includes less than 20 hours of nutrition education over 4 years. That is less than 1 hour per semester. Your doctor knows a tremendous amount about drugs, surgery, and disease management. Your doctor knows very little about how food actually affects your body. The low-fat dairy recommendation persists because it is baked into government guidelines that were written in the 1980s and have never been fully updated. Those guidelines influence what doctors learn, what hospitals serve, and what insurance companies cover. Changing those guidelines requires mountains of evidence and decades of political battles. The evidence for full-fat dairy is now overwhelming. The political battle is still ongoing. You do not have to wait for the guidelines to change. You do not need permission from your doctor to eat real food. You can look at the research yourself. You can experiment with your own body. Try full-fat dairy for 60 days and see how you feel. Most people report less joint pain, more energy, better digestion, and stronger nails and hair within the first month. Their blood work often improves as well, with better cholesterol ratios and lower inflammation markers. One study from the Swedish mammography cohort followed over 40,000 women for 12 years. Those who ate full-fat dairy had significantly lower rates of heart disease than those who ate low-fat dairy. The researchers speculated that the beneficial compounds in dairy fat, including vitamin K2 and conjugated linoleic acid, outweighed any potential harm from the saturated fat. The women who ate the most dairy fat lived the longest. That is the opposite of what the low-fat guidelines would predict. Within 2 weeks of switching to full-fat dairy, you will notice less joint stiffness in the morning. Within 1 month, your energy will stabilize and your digestion will improve. Within 3 months, your nails grow stronger, your hair looks healthier, and you feel more confident on your feet. Throw away the skim milk. Donate the low-fat yogurt. Your bones will thank you. Real food for real health. Strength after 60 is a decision you make 3 times per day. Start this week. See you in the next video. Peace.